Hello and welcome to our new session with Qamar. We are grateful that today she made it and she is able to use this beautiful session with us. So with no further ado, let's start with Qamar.
Okay, hello everyone. Finally, we managed to have this KMP session in English. So, this is Qamar. I am a Google developer expert for Android category and Women Techmaker ambassador for Palestine. And currently, I am working as mobile Android engineer at Yassir. In today's sessions, Shadi, can we share the slide? Yes. So, in today's session, we will talk about UI magic, merging SwiftUI and Jetpack Compose together in one place, and absolutely using Compose multi-platform. So, let's start. I know that doing SwiftUI and Jetpack Compose in one place, it sounds like trying to speak two different languages in the same time. But don't panic, we will handle this inshallah in this session. Okay, first, why we will need to use SwiftUI in the middle of Compose multi-platform project? Okay, when we already have a build SwiftUI component that I need to reuse it inside a Compose multi-platform app, I would need just to get it and reuse it again. And when we know or when we have a specific platform component that I already know that I needed to perform as the native behavior and looks like the native behavior, I would go and suggest to just use the SwiftUI component instead of replacing it with Jetpack Compose, especially if this component is not easily to be replaced by Jetpack Compose. Okay, and as we said, if we needed to just looks like the native behavior that we know. So why I need Compose in the first place? So suppose that, imagine that we have a screen that have a common component unless one component. Would you prefer to write it twice or once? For me, I absolutely will go with write it once, and the one component I needed to be native, I will just write it in the native UI platform that it's need to, and this will saving our time and resources as well. Okay. Okay. Before we answer our big question, that can we truly use SwiftUI inside Compose? How about seeing how we can create a Compose multi-platform project first? Let me share my screen. And please, can anyone confirm to me if my screen is showing or not? Shadi, can you add my screen? Okay. You can see it, right? Let us just open this. I need to be confirmed that you are seeing my screen. Anyone reply to me? Hello. Is my screen seeable? Yes, okay. So I guess now it is. Just anyone can confirm in comments or anything. I will chat. Okay. It seems like it is already. So let's start doing this. Okay, so let's just create GDG Helwan example. GDG.Helwan. So here I can just check which platform I need this project to be supported to. So for example, we need Android and iOS project, and we need to use Compose multi-platform in iOS, which is beta now. And if we don't need this at all, we can just use only SwiftUI template. Okay, so now I will just do this project and download it. Once we download this project, we can, yes, so now we have a Compose multi-platform project and we can use it easily. Okay, so as Nurhan said in her session, we have this fleet editor IDE that GetBrains has represented to us in the past 2 years, if I am not wrong. So Fleet is the Compose or Kotlin multi-platform IDE that will help you to start your KMB or build your KMB projects with it without needing you to open your iOS project in the Xcode. It will just provide you the iOS environment, a developer environment in the easiest way. So you can just here type any Swift code as you want. For me, I will not using it today with you. I would prefer to go with Android Studio because I believe Fleet have an issue with indexing. It took too many time. So I would just prefer to go with Android. Okay, so let's start now to dive into our code. So what we will do is that we will have a screen that it have Compose components, and it will have also a specific component in each platform. So let's say that we will show a date picker in iOS side, and in Android we will show a text field for Android app. Okay, I don't know if everything is okay, but I will continue. Okay, let's start then. Can you see my Android Studio or no? I believe. Yes, Abdul Basit. I agree. So you can see my Android Studio. Can anyone confirm that? Okay, thank you for everyone who answered. It's weird to just talk to myself. Okay, so basically, let's just dive in deep about the structure of the Compose multi-platform project or KMB project. So as we just choose the Android and iOS app, so mainly we will have Compose app and iOS app. The Compose app, it's basically the shared one. I believe there is some changes for that, as previously before I cut off for like 6 months or more. There were Android app shared and iOS app, but now I believe things are changing. So let's discover this together. Okay, so basically we will have the Compose app, which is the shared thing that we need, and the iOS app. Okay. Inside the Compose app, we will have our Android main and common main, then the iOS main. The common main will have the all common components that we need. The Android main will contains the Android components things, and the iOS main will also have the iOS component code. Okay. So if we just by the way, this is not the one we shared. This is not the project we made recent in today. I mean, it's one that I already made, but just to save your time and not waiting a lot to things to be downloading and the indexing thing. So as I said, we will just have a screen. Let me, if I can. I need to just draw something with you just to make things okay. So let's just let's suppose this is our screen, and we will have like okay, no, we will have like this. Let me change the color. This as Compose, and we will have this section as the native behavior or the native UI of anything, and here we will have the Compose again. Okay, so that's like an imagination for what we will build. Okay, so for iOS, I told you that I will choose a date picker. This is for iOS. I can try type anything here. Okay, iOS. And for Android, we will have Android. We will have a normal text field. Okay. So let's start with building the date picker in SwiftUI. Just for saving your time, I will just uncommit the code. Okay. So basically, we have a normal date picker. It has the state to save the date, the choosing date, and it's a normal date picker in SwiftUI. Okay. Then to use this component inside a Compose, I need to use this UI controller to just make to just help this view to be converted to a Compose thing. Like in under the hood, they are just compiling this to be work in Android side or in the Compose side. Okay. So let's just it will return UI view controller, which is the component we use inside Compose to just let the Compose compiler understand that this UI controller will have a Swift UI component, and you need to do your work to just compile it to be as a Compose component. Okay, we called it a factory because UI view controller in Compose side will need from us a factory to just understand what this component it needs يعني. Okay, so as we said, UI hosting controller, and it will take our normal SwiftUI controller, the date picker view factory, its function that returns to us a UI view controller. As we said, it's like the wrapper that compiles SwiftUI to be returned as Compose view, and this is the UI hosting controller for it. Okay. For the next step, you see that we have to do all this in just 3 steps. So mainly this main view controller, this function is a composable function that it returns SwiftUI. That it's retain a SwiftUI component. So here we are doing our compose things, and this function will return it to us as SwiftUI also. Okay, so let me just pass our factory here. Okay, then I will use the UIKit view controller and passing it our factory, which is our SwiftUI component. This header is a simple compose components. There is an image, text, and the footer is, let me just remove this, I don't need it, and this one, it's not needed, and this one, it's not needed. Yes, okay. So they are a totally normal Jetpack Compose components, and here on iOS we just call the header, and here we call the footer, and here is our SwiftUI component. Let us try to just run this and see what will happen. What do you think it will work? I can say no, because we don't give it the factory here. It will not work because it needs the factory, which is date factory. Yes. If I type this in Fleet, it will be much easier, right? Date factory, I will leave like this, but let me do it in Fleet to just confirm. Okay. Now date. Hello. I hit Fleet. Okay. Yes, date factory. Why you are not listening to us? And here it is, the date factory that we need. Yes, it's like, yes, he getting it. So let's run our app again. There is a Swift support plugin. What do you think it will work? My most favorite part in Compose and KMV. Yes, now we are using a pure SwiftUI component inside. I guess the screen needs a scroll, but yes, the idea should be received. And let us just go and explore how we did this in Android. As we said, that in main we can have our Android code in Android main. So in Android main we have a normal text field with its input state. I am enjoying just running iOS simulator from Android Studio. It's just make me satisfied. Now our emulator is um, showing. The iOS run faster than Android. That's weird. It's about to finish. I know, we wait a lot. Mhm. Yes, thanks God, we are almost running. So it seems like Android is is loading a lot. Um, so a pro tip: don't use your emulator if you have a 8 a 8 RAM in your machine.
Can you start take some questions till the emulation is ended?
It's dying. Okay, but it will show that that text field is showing there. Let's take some questions while it's still loading, if there is any, of course.
Okay, Abdurrahman Isam was asking, what about the performance?
What about performance for the component itself or for the Compose multi-platform in general? But to answer this, actually, I can't answer or decide, as I still didn't work in a full app that is using Compose multi-platform. I believe that Abdul Basit will have a good answer for that. But as I saw, there is no any raised issues about the performance using Compose multi-platform or KMB apps. As Karim is working, as Karim is using KMB, and a lot of startups is using it, as you said in your session, Shadi. So the real answer is not but I believe it will not affect anything.
Okay, I believe it's already run, so I will leave.
And here is our text field. So we have this in iOS and this in Android. Let me stop sharing as my machine is dying. And what about the questions? Any other questions?
So I
Yes,
believe
it takes forever, yes.
very informative session about how we can have some differentiation in Compose and in SwiftUI, and I believe that might be a reason for why should we still have iOS engineer in our team, and if
Yes,
Swift UI is a dying thing, but no, it seems it's not dying. We are still need them to work or co-work in our Kotlin multi-platform application or Compose multi-platform application. And it is the first. I thought completely that if we went to Compose multi-platform, it is going to be exactly the same copy. So it is also a new thing, and it is a discovery for myself that we can still have native
yes.
Swift UI component inside Compose multi-platform. So yeah, this is something.
It was for me like, oh, we really can do that? And yes, we are.
Okay, I believe
Right. Yeah, there is no questions.
no,
Or
only Abdul Basit just shared his pain with Fleet, same as you.
yes, it's painful. I just I was just imagine that it's easy to use, but it's take forever to indexing and loading.
So it is light IDE, but on the
Yeah,
other
but
side,
it's not like they still need to work on it.
okay, Abdurrahman Hassan uh, sent another question. I am talking about more about using SwiftUI component in Kotlin multi-platform app. Compose multi-platform. Yes, it is Compose multi-platform app. Does that make any performance issues?
To be honest, we need to experiment this in a real app or a real thing. But as I saw right now with you, and when I just know about this, it's working fine. That there is no lag. You saw this with me, right? There is no lag or anything to make us thinking about this will affect our app performance. But we need to just give it a real try and re-experiment it in a real apps. Like Abdul Basit can use any Swift UI native component in his templates and tell us what the result.
So Abdul Basit said it is a light IDE with a black hole in it. I believe he is still talking about Fleet. And
Yes.
we do have Fattah Futuh. Futuh says new upcoming project Skip for
Yes.
building multiple apps with SwiftUI.
Yes, I am seeing them in Twitter, but they are just asking Apple to support them like Kotlin, like Android support KMV, but I guess this will never happen. They really mentioned Apple every time that, hey, can you support us? But I don't think that it will happen.
Actually, I looked at Skip. It doesn't, for example, if we do have a library that can work, for example, a design system for
Mm-hmm.
iOS, it is going to be fully integrated in SwiftUI. So it can be ported using this Skip project as I looked at it. And also, if we do have some native component or native readings that we need to take from the devices. For example, if you want to read from a compass or
Mm-hmm.
GPS, or read any readings for example, a barcode reader, it's going to be very difficult to do that from Skip because it
Yes.
doesn't allow to use native component or native libraries or native features from the Android. It can only be used, as I saw on the demo, for simple things like map, that it can be done, or simple forms. So it is going to be a CRUD functions, but as I mentioned, not some native UI components can be consumed for it.
So as I understand, they built it above a Swift as the fundamental thing for them is the Swift. Ah, yeah, that's so. In this case, the iOS will be native and Android will be not, right? Mm.
And this is the tricky part. They
Mm.
managed to do that, but as I mentioned, they didn't think well about how they can manage to deal with native libraries. In Compose
Mm-hmm.
Multi, as you can see, we can use native Swift
Yes.
libraries. But in Skip, no, we can't use native Java or native Kotlin libraries.
So 1 point for GetBrains, 0 for Skip. Yes.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, we do have one fresh question from Osama Said. How does
Mhm.
Kotlin platform handle state management across SwiftUI and Jetpack Compose?
So I believe that we are already using Kotlin, so there is nothing to be changed. And as you saw, for the date picker, we used the native state for SwiftUI. So I believe if we need to be careful, to be honest, on using the native component for each platform. So we didn't just over engineering ourselves. So if it's a very very simple component that doesn't need any tricks to be handled, I would prefer to use this component instead of thinking for a complex one, so that we cannot face these kind of issues. But as you saw, we use a simple component for that. But if you are asking in general, we still have Kotlin, and we can just handle this state management like we are handling it in our Kotlin projects as usual. So now flows is already support the two platform. So there is, I guess, there is no a real issue in that, if I understand your question correctly. Yes, yes, I wish that. Well, yes, yes. This project is for me is something interesting because I already tried it with the Flutter. It was I get the early access for it as I am a JDE, and I already tried it with the Flutter, and I believe that it will be something promising if we could have this as a Compose multi-platform IDE, clouding IDE. And yes, I would agree with that. Is it good to rely on one-based project? As I tried, I guess yes, but it will rely on your internet connection quality. So if it's good, you will have a very good experience. If it's bad, you will have a very bad experience. Shadi, you are in mute, I guess.
As my feeling when I looked at this project, I had a felt that it's only been created for Gemini. So it is Flutter with Gemini.
Yes, but
Python,
they
everything.
announced yesterday that they will support Android.
Okay, with Gemini also.
I don't know.
I felt that it is a Gemini project with flavors, with Flutter, with Python, with Java, with Kotlin. So everything with Gemini. So it is a Gemini project.
Actually, this Android Studio AI is something amazing. You could just do anything related to UI from just one click or two clicks there, and it's really something interesting. So, any other questions? Actually, I am enjoying this. This is the first time with the GDG Helwan after the long cutoff I had been. And I really, really, really thanks Shadi and GDG Helwan team for this opportunity. I always enjoy being with you all.
Same here. And we do have another comment from Fatou. Web-based workspace, Go, Node Express, Flutter, Gemini API. Yes, Gemini API is included in all. Yes. So that was the reason for asking for web-based workspace
Yes.
and web-based projects. So I believe the session was crystal clear. So we don't have too much questions about
Yes.
this new feature. Of course, it is recorded in YouTube, so you can return back to the notes and the helping tips and tricks that have been created by Qamar in this project. And it was pleasure having you all. If you don't have any more questions, I believe we talk a lot from Qamar and from your time. We can have a small break to pray and then return back to our next session, if it is okay with all of you. If you have any question, please just send it to us now before we leave. It's been a pleasure having you, Qamar, again on GDG Helwan and Kotlin Cairo user group. And welcome to Egypt, welcome to Cairo, and welcome to our community contributions. And we are very pleased to have you back again.
Thank you all.
And Fatouh is telling you thank you for the informative session.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day, and please join our next session. This is going to start after 5 minutes. Thank you. Have a good day, and see you.
See you.